through the night, the Lord, well, it was many dreams, but I can't call them. But he did wake me up by, I saw him tapping. It was the date of Fire and Yellow's first litter. Now the three I've got now is their second litter. Both my females, Glory and Fire, have had 2 litters each. And as you know, Glory's litter was on Christmas Day and New Year's Day. They're very, very significant. And there's very little significance I found in Fire's birthday. She had her puppies, because I had no idea when she would have them, her first litter. What I thought was 3 or 4 days early. It was supposed to be on a Friday, but it was a Tuesday. So today now is Wednesday, but yesterday was Tuesday. So I think it points to yesterday. Tuesday was the day I was waiting for Ruby to get back to me about tribute. And because she hasn't, it's still in the air. I have till the 19th, basically, as a deadline. I made it very clear that I wouldn't be putting tribute in a crate after the 19th to go to Christchurch to be her dog, because the 20th was my birthday and I didn't want to have an upsetting day. So money's not gone in the account and she hasn't contacted me. So stay tuned. But anyway, he's tapping. Now, it's a very scruffy book. But I have the dates. Oh, here we go. We've turned straight to Fire and Yellow. So here we go. She was studded on the 18th and the 19th of December. It was when I was in Christchurch at Chamberlain's Ford, the campground where my children never returned from Access. I met up with my children there after she had been studded on that date, 18th, 19th December. So I just do the maths. So there were several stud dates, and I do the maths. I'm not sure what it was he was tapping. I'm just going to record this. So I thought she was due on the 18th or 19th, calculating 59 days. And that's what I've written there. And then this is the birth. So he must have been tapping this. This one. The 16th was when they came. She was in labour right over the 15th, and she had them in the morning again on the 16th. I have the birth time stamps somewhere as well. I'm sure I do. Oh no, that's not what happened. That's her second birth of the 3. Sorry. No, she basically just, I got up in the morning on the 16th and I heard a yelp and one fell out. It was a very strange birth because it's different from any other. There was no labour. One just came out. So here we are. We had 5 puppies, and the last one born was Fire Twin, which is Michael, who I kept, right? Just going to ignore the pups. They're not getting up here today while I'm doing this. So the only thing I can say about the 16th is Gary rang me up and said he was going to kill himself rather than let them come in his door. And he wouldn't say it, but he was very, let's say, disturbed because of something Jacinda was saying about coming into the houses. Because they are going to. We've got Super Saturday coming up. I don't know what date that is, but he said the 16th. I don't know if he meant this month or next. So he'll be heading to the hills. I'm hoping to get a bit of a room set up for him so that he can go bush and have somewhere to stay. Now, that's all I can say about that. I just know he tapped that number. You know, and I think it's the 16th. So anyway, I knew I had to get that book. So that's why I reached into my cupboard just to record that. I have a friend who I accepted. I don't know how they found me, probably to do a Billy. I've accepted their request on Facebook. I posted this last night. Look at those colours. This is amazing, this imagery of the volcano, because I still follow that. So they're coming out, right? We've got Superman. This is our new Superman. Yeah, he comes out, the Man of Steel. Okay. Just thought that was interesting because it came with my song. Now this is a live that's been sent me by that lady I just befriended. I'm declining that phone call. God.
Hey guys.
Yeah, she seems very down to earth American.
Okay. And then I said, and why would there? I said, I thought most people are vaccinated, right? She was like, yeah, I mean, most people are vaccinated.
So she's talking about being outside the emergency ward and there's a charter bus. She's talking to a nurse. Okay, and this is what she gets.
But, I mean, and I said, okay, so if they're all vaccinated, why is there a COVID surge? And she started to step back a little bit. I said, that's okay. She's like, she said, I can't say, is what she said. And then I said, well, okay, back to the nurses and the doctors. I said, do you think that these nurses and doctors are leaving because they're being required to get a vaccine or lose their job? And she goes, well, I don't know, but I do know that all these doctors and nurses are leaving. I said, well, are the hospitals requiring their employees to get vaccinated or, leave? She said, yes, all of the hospitals are requiring their employees, their nurses and doctors, to be vaccinated. I said, so where are you from? I mean, what hospital are you from? And she says, no, I'm with FEMA. Okay, guys, did you hear that?
Yeah, I heard it.
I said, you're going to do the same job in the same building with the same patients, treating the same illness as the doctors and the nurses who just were employed at this hospital and left because they were being required by their employer to be. I'm just going to say it. The Obama administration, back in 2008, created what? A socialized healthcare system, Obamacare. We are now seeing the effects of it. When FEMA comes in, which is a governmental program, they've defunded our hospitals with the doctors and the nurses, requiring those hospitals.
Yep, you know what
This is very concerning. Like I said before,
So she says that, I just didn't want to say the FEMA word too often. The nurse responded that they weren't required to get the FEMA. So, interesting. So when I'm chatting, I just said, she said she was disturbed. I thought, that's a good choice of words. That really helped me, actually, to say disturbed. I have I've had those periods in the last week. I really have. And I'm listening to it. And it reminds me of how I saw these two outside my caravan. But to be concerned, the Lord said about the home guard, that was a year ago. So I've heard about the Home Guard taking residency in the hospital, and now we're talking about the F team. And those words have come to pass. And then the one a year and a half ago the Lord gave was, don't work for the government. Well, we pretty much understand what he's saying there, don't we? So all these one-liners, these warnings prove that he is watching over us, right? So be encouraged. Be encouraged. And then for some reason, well, I can't see, sorry, I can't see her icon, but it looks like the bride and bridegroom. It's beautiful. But I was reminded of the movie Sleepless in Seattle, and how the Lord told me he's going to give me 2 romantic movies, and that one's about how he's going to take the church in America, that's all I saw at the time, from the movie up at the end. So there is a remnant, so trust in him and dig in. Now it's Valentine's Day. It's Valentine's Day. The movie actually passes through Christmas Day and New Year. So picture our Christmas and New Year, and then Valentine's next year. Do I give a time frame? I don't know. I just told you that the Lord gave me the movie. There was a love heart on the Empire State Building. And then it was 1993 that the movie was made, and that's the year that my daughter was born. She's a sign, 1993. The Twin Towers were there, and then they weren't. At the end, they weren't there. And the Lord's just showing me it was a future time. So in the conclusion of the movie, we move to the future. The towers aren't there. There's a love heart on the towers. The tower, the one that looks like a needle, as well as the one that's been replacing the twins. They both look like needles. This one used to have, and I saw it, Carly on it. They light it up often. But the Lord was there before, and he lit it up with his love heart for Valentine's Day. Is it literally Valentine's Day? It is a banner over me is love, isn't it? The banner over me is love. So this is where I'm at now. You could say I got distracted. When I went to get my puppy book, I found a book that has opened up. Look, I've just realised I opened it up and reread this recently. And now the Lord wants me to go round and round. Are you dizzy yet? I'm going to read it again. So this is like a time capsule, because it's dated the 22nd of the 3rd, 2019. I just flipped through it. So I'm going to read it, but we need to watch these. Now, I posted just on Messenger a wee clip of me looking at the mountain the Lord has brought me to. Now, this bear, Bushcraft, he's got a mountain that he walks up. And so because of that, I am going to upload this video of the mountain that I'm talking about. It's only 4 minutes, so watch that. And I'm going to link this Bushcraft bear. See, because this is important, because the bear goes up the mountain. It's the highest mountain on the island. And notice something about what he says here. It's 8.7 miles away, but he says, as the crow flies. Isn't that an awesome saying? What does that mean? What is the Lord saying? There's these images through it of the cave. There's this image of the reservoir. The Lord has something for me to say about the reservoirs. I will just get it over with. This is disturbing. Now, you know I go for a walk to Londonderry Rock. It's the biggest rock. It's so big, it's a monument basically. Nobody can lift it. It's a 10-minute walk up and around a loop, around the rock and then down. I do it every day almost with the dogs. Well, we go along the reservoir. I can see from here a big long pipe that sends the water down from the mountains, just like he's explained. See that tiny little pipe there? Apparently, that's feeding the reservoir. Yeah. I don't know if that feeds the town. It's a tiny little reservoir. It's a miniature version. We have a reservoir up there that is massive. Now, there is no accidents or mistakes. That this house, when I was at the gate, my gate is up, remember? I put my gate up. When I was at that gate, when they made that opening for me to put the posts in, when they made the opening, I had a gate. That gate was made a year before that. Tell me if that's not a miracle. I had a gate made a year before that. So I just used the gate that I'd made. It's finally up. The Lord told me to put it up. But when I was standing there, once that entrance was made, realising I had a gate and I had wheels, because I bought a dog bed that had really good wheels, I said, I just feel like I'm going to, there's a number, I need to put a number on it. And I was going to put 32. But the Lord, he said 52. Now my testimony is, when I was 16, I went to my dad's house for school holidays. I come back, my mum had packed up and moved from Port Chalmers without letting me know. The house was empty. I mean, is that not trauma? I mean, you don't do that. Anyway, my boyfriend I went to his house. He said, oh no, she moved. I was only away a week. And I went to the new house. It was the man she'd been dating. It was 52 Reservoir Road. So that was where we live now. 52 Reservoir Road. 52 means willful ignorance. And reservoir is important. So here we are at this water reservoir. Well, on the way to Londonderry Rock, if you carry on round the hill, it's actually a water trail, man-made, that comes down those pipes, that goes into the Tiramaka, generates power. That's trust power. That's where I first parked when I arrived. Then I come over the bridge and up the hill. Gold miner, the father, he towed the caravan up here. At the bottom of that reservoir is where the Lord placed me, across the road from the Pa, the ancient burial site that the Lord had shown me in a map before I left. Okay, I know it's convoluted, but when I got up here, I know, and I don't know where I recorded it, that there was something about the reservoirs, and they're going to poison this water. Now there's a big thing that Brian said is going on. One, it's all to do with the depopulation of the areas. I mean, they're definitely going to get them off that island if nothing else comes of it. There is going to be no one on that island. Depopulation of these rural areas, places where people can hide. When he's going up there, Bushcraft Bear shows all the little stone buildings and his dream of living up on off-grid up this mountain, which is what I am doing. And many people, I believe, are either hearing it or ignoring that they need to do this too. Get out of the cities. So anyway, the depopulation that's going on here is in the form of the confiscation of land. All the long-term leases that they've had since the early 1800s are not being renewed. Generations and generations of Irish families or whatever, they're being taken. Like, for instance, this land here that is deserts, if they knew, and I just went out there yesterday around that little swamp. See the wee swamp? The water, my lake. And there's frogs there. They're just stupid frogs. We have frogs I bred the same frogs. I don't know if they're as green over in Christchurch. Like I kept lizards, skink lizards. They're nothing special. Anything will be an excuse, and they're using it. So if they knew there were frogs in there, and I saw a tadpole yesterday, they would probably require Des to fence it, and they would confiscate the land. Yet he would have to pay the rates and maintain it. That's what's happening. Okay, that's just one example. But it's happening to, any old bird they find in the swamp, and they're especially finding them. You've got to watch they don't grab them and take them somewhere to look after them, because there's giant snails that they killed them, and they killed the lizards when they took them away. So the West Coasters are very cunning. They know the ecology. They know they're conservationists. They know where these things are, and they're not saying. But inevitably, they've taken over the council. It's government run now. We don't have regional councils. And there's the land confiscation, and there's the 3 Water, which I haven't even looked into. 3 Water Act, which is basically the government's taken over the municipal power of the waters. So one thing I noticed, and Brian came one time with me down to Londonderry Rock, and then he went on a tiki tour up that river, up to the top of the reservoir. Now I've been on that trip, and there is a massive funnel pipe, and I went there once when it had been opened. They were like releasing the dam, and the power that water was coming out, and I videoed it, and it's on my YouTube 3 years ago. I know what's up there, but I hadn't been up recent, and he had, and I know he could drive just up there. Then I noticed on my daily trips they were spraying, and then they've put up a big yellow gate. There is no way to get past it on either side. You could walk, but it's got a bolt on it. And even to drive down there, you would have to be backing back. So I will walk down and check it, and I'll do a wee video. They've taken the water. So it doesn't really take much to do what they want to do on the land, to poison it. The poison land and the poison water. So keep that in mind, guys. Yep. I would be using rainwater, although we know what can be in the rain. Now, so there's a map, and everything's very important. These are the wee houses. Aren't they lovely? So Bushcraft puts a very different sort of upload up. Anyway, when I'm looking for my pet book, just to have a look at that date, we know now it's the 16th of the 2nd that she had her pups, right? We're just going to leave that on the shelf. There's a song, Come Ride With Me, Come Ride, Let's Ride Away. The Lord quickened that song to me in Messenger, and that's where I got that beautiful song with the horses and the cowboys. Never heard it before. But here's your date. So I'm just going to grab that word and read again. See, I've done that. I've read it recent. It just feels like the Lord's getting me to read it again. But what I want to just read is this bottom bit, because I think it's relevant for that lady who's just starting to message me some information. Confirmation has been riding through my dreams over and over again, and I'm finally writing the head of it. The last thing I remember is saying to one of those who would join in the celebration. This is part of the dream, right, that I'd had. But I remembered this. The last thing that I was saying to one of those who would join in the celebration was this. So, are you going back to your parents? They either didn't want to, or they hadn't thought of it. Isn't that weird? So is that for now? For someone? So, God's simple words are this. Congratulations, you did it. You managed to get it on the billboards. What? Get what on the billboards? This. His banner over me is love. Congratulations. You did it. It's like Johnny does it, isn't it? Johnny did it. Congratulations, you did it. You managed to get it on the billboards. His banner over me is love. Okay. I'm not quite sure if I need to read this. This is, I know I posted about Jacinda, so these are the headlines back in 2019. Our leader, now, she believes in their mutual kindness. This is around their big kick-off event at Al Noor Mosque. She believes in their mutual kindness, compassion and sympathy are just like one body. When any part of the body suffers, the whole body feels pain. New Zealand suffers with you. We are one. She literally said that. She literally said this. May God strike her down. She believes in their mutual kindness. She says compassion and sympathy are just like one body. When any part of the body suffers, the whole body feels pain. New Zealand suffers with you. We are one. Who is your speechwriter? Who is your spokesman? Who is your mighty judge? A fountain that has a funnel that has a spout that has a compartment that has a descent that leads to desecration, a desecration that leads to neglect that leads to dissatisfaction, satisfaction leads you nowhere, no one or nobody. Nobody. The movie. Nobody. There is no body. No body can change this. This body she speaks of will not change this deep dissatisfaction. A snack on the move. Relief for the masses. Unsatisfactory move. But empty is its beginning, and empty is its end. A loneliness we call happiness, a shout in the crowd, a mountain out of a molehill, a sad little shout. If you think you are saying what God is about you is nowhere. Nowhere is where you go. From a man who was going somewhere where few will know. Take it from me. I have found you under a mountain of snow. I have walked long and hard to a place no one else will go. I've seen the beginning and the end. I've seen the beginning and the end. It's something of a show, an amusing little scenario. that pulls a mighty blow. If you think you're escaping, I've got something that will show. A God of all the nations, all the bullets in a row. You have nobody. Whoo-shada-ba-sha-da-da-da. I feel like now's the time. See that? Seeds people sow. To move forward. And what does that look like? Because we have on all levels of society, whether that be in schools, whether that be in politics or the rugby field, the Lord commends the Canterbury Crusaders. Now, they made them take down their advertising campaign as the Crusaders. He commends the Canterbury Crusaders for looking at a name change. More implies alien and non-Christian. See the spelling? Physical, emotional, and sexual abuse splits the psyche of a person. Now I'm going to talk about my visitor. And this is my visitor, Nigel, who put the nail in the eye. So I'm talking about him here. Because remember, we went through this event together. It was me and him together. I was on his land at this time. Now, I'm saying, because of what he has revealed to me, that his favourite song is Mexican. And he stood there and said he was Mexican. He's a Maori, but he says he's Mexican. This is about the land. This is about the people. This is the key to the ministry the Lord has given me. The indigenous races, the ones that spread through the Tower of Babel, the mixed languages, where they are, what they're hiding, their dirty little secrets. So my visitor is a Mexican. He plays Spanish worship music. The Lord woke me up in September with Spanish Matador, and it links to the Canary Islands, so we're going full circle. He wraps his headscarf over his head like a woman 3 times, then he lets it fall to his neck. He says he can start fire from the end of his finger. That's what he said. Fire comes from his fingers. He pants. He points to bread. He advocates the word of God, but not the Spirit. He will not receive the Spirit and does not want to be fed bread. The moon is the sign from his God. When I shared my testimony, I was drunk in the Spirit. And he forcefully puts his arms around me and turns me. He turns me in a direction, and he did this, and he shuffles me forward with both hands on my arms, which he forced down from the worship position. I had my arms up to the Lord to see what? Oh, he wants me to stop being filled. Halt the living waters. Halt the living waters. And look at the moon. Moonstruck. Oh, I thought you knew. That's what he said. Because I'm going, what? Oh, I thought you knew. Now it hits him. We are like 2 rivers that don't mix. Now the Lord gave me a revelation of that when I was looking at the Tiramakau, and how I've just mentioned the reservoir where it joins at Trustpower. It's a brown water. It's not dirt, it's just the pumice from the ferns. It's clean. But where it meets, it doesn't mix. You can see it's like a science. And here I have scribed it before I went and saw it. I visually see it. I could go down there and film it for you. We are like two rivers that don't mix. We are not a braided river from the same source. One water is dirty and one river is clean. They don't mix. What fellowship do you have with darkness? What part of darkness has the light? The drink makes the demons flow freely, like sleep make a way in the darkness for entities. You know why they worship creation? We're talking about these peoples that the Lord is pointing to. You know why they worship creation? Why their gods, small g, are all gods of the created world? Because they did create it. It's a copy, it's a mirror, it's the upside down. It's like heaven. That's where they get it. Their ideas, they are not the original authors of authority. Therefore, they are not the creator. It is still true to not worship creation, but worship the creator of heaven and earth, God for nothing. I say good for nothing. Thieves, infidels. It does not contradict the Bible. It confirms it. All of us are without excuse. He has revealed himself in creation. Just not how us stupid so-called followers of Christ have been deceived to believe. It's time to tell the truth. The angels in the different cultural, political religions are polytheists. They do have the answers. We believed in truth with a bit taken out. We believed in truth with a bit taken out. How come it is told of us now? How come I know Jonathan's call? Mine to the indigenous people. Did the Waitaha know the truth? Is that why they were destroyed? These are the original peoples here. They can't let their dirty secret get out. See, I said dirty secret earlier, but I hadn't read this. This is a couple of years ago I wrote this. It was the Holy Spirit said dirty secret. He said it twice. They can't let their dirty secret get out. This is why so many say God reveals himself in creation. He does, but not the way we think. He reveals the lie, that is this world. And I will mention they were carnivores, consuming one another. The angels consume you. He reveals the lie that is this world, the empty vessels filled with rebellious angels. We were meant to be shells, playthings for fleshly desire and propagation. It was only Abraham's descendants that were blessed to propagate. This is a piece that I've read before. I never went earlier than this. The rest of them don't matter. It was only Abraham's descendants that were blessed to propagate. The rest of them don't matter. They don't matter, God. It's a cruel joke to give us hearts, personalities and feelings, brains and senses, when it's all just for their indulgence. So your tuatua, that's the Māori word for moon, was not there. So your moon was covered by the clouds. Your God abandoned you. Your blessing is over. He's talking to these angels. your God abandoned you. You know these people groups that have worshipped the gods, small gods? They're soon going to realise that their tuatua was not there. So your moon was covered by the